Hi, Bev. It is so great to be back with you again. I am so excited to talk about today's topic.
You're lovely to be back with you as always, Tansy. What are we talking about today?
Well, this is a topic that comes up all the time in the work that I do. This is work-life balance. If that balance actually exists, but some kind of work-life harmony, maybe we should call it.
Oh, I like that. Beautiful.
So I'm curious, why don't you lead us off and tell me, what do you see and envision when it comes to a work-life balance?
Beautiful. I love that question. So last time we were talking about how if things are not in balance and harmony, our body starts to express stress. One of the things for me that comes up always with every client is this explanation that I learned from Terry Real about just how as our skin separates us from the outside world, it keeps us contained, it contains us, and it protects us. So too our psychic boundary. What does that mean? He describes it like an orange peel. On the inside, our psychic boundary is what contains us. It contains our anger, our urges, and it protects the outside world from us overflowing onto it. That's a healthy boundary. On the outside, it also protects us from what's coming in, from all the stimuli that are coming in. So you can have a porous kind of boundary where I don't see a difference between me and you. So I'm going to pursue you and I'm going to want you to do what I want. I want to control you. And that can be really stressful, especially if you're pulling back and I'm trying to control you all the time because I don't see a distinction. Or I can be completely walled off and not allow anyone in. And both those will cause us tremendous stress. We want a healthy boundary that is protected and engaged at the same time. I know where I finish and where you begin. So that not everything that comes in affects us. We're not hot and cold depending on the temperature outside.
I love that. You said a key word. You said porous boundaries. And that is critical to remember, because when our boundaries are porous and a lot can filtrate in, that can start to influence us mentally, emotionally, but also physically. And a lot of times, especially with the clients that I work with a lot of high achievers. So my clientele typically does not really realize the level of stress that porous boundaries and having an imbalanced work-life relationship can really cause a lot of physical damage. And that can be in a multitude of factors. It may show up in ways like weight gain and some body pain. It can even show up in larger, more long-term effects like cancer and autoimmune disorders and other kind of big health issues. So that's something to really emphasize here, is even the fact of making strong boundaries and honoring those relationships by doing so takes a big impact in a positive way on your physical health.
Right. I love what you said. I'll make this distinction. I'm not as my understanding of more of the illnesses of cancer. I'm not so expert in that, as much as understanding more of the addictive behaviors of overeating and smoking, things that we do that intentionally harm us and are very often a way of comforting us, of self-soothing, of distracting us from what's really bothering us. And that's where boundaries need to be built up so that they're not completely, as I said, walled off or open. And that takes, again, the presencing, the sitting with the discomfort. You just said something to me mm-mm, there is a bit of truth in what you said. Let me take that away and sit with it. Somebody said to me yesterday, you're opinionated. As much as that hurt, there was truth in what she said. So I took part of what she said and I sat with that. But part of what she said, I could say, that doesn't fit with me. That's yours. But part of what you said is true. And I want to sit with that. And that's where I didn't run to the fridge, or I didn't run to a cigarette. I don't smoke, but I didn't do something destructive. I sat with myself. I try to find times where I could just be with myself a little bit more in the day.
Wouldn't you then maybe say that boundaries and setting strong, non-porous or minimal porous boundaries is actually a foundational need when it comes to a work-life balance? But also having
Absolutely.
the discernment, having that discernment of what is truth and what is not necessarily truth.
Right? That's the healthy boundary. When I can say
Yeah.
what you said has part truth, but part doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
That's the healthy, when I don't take everything in that the environment says about me. So when they say I'm fabulous, oh, I'm so happy. When they say you're really bad, I'm so down on myself. That is the healthy boundary. And it's essential, it's critical to all our relationships. Where do I end and you begin? Where do I protect myself? And where do I protect you from everything that can gush out of me, so that we remain separate, yet we can remain engaged?
Yeah. One thing I do want to emphasize here, and this goes right hand in hand with what the addictive piece, the addiction, smoking, overeating, sugar, whatever those addictive tendencies are. When we have the excess stress coming in our life from too much saying yes to too many things and no to not enough, and having porous boundaries, when we have that stress coming in, that actually affects our blood sugar levels and it affects the health of our gut. And what happens, especially when our blood sugar levels start to become very roller coastery, like they're going like this throughout your day, that causes us to make some unhealthy decisions. Eating excess sugar, trying to soothe ourselves, trying to take away the discomfort, smoking, trying to decrease the stress so that we are not feeling as stressed out and feeling those cravings in other areas of our lives. So blood sugar is really important to keep stabilized. And the more that we have excess stress coming in, the more that that's going to directly impact our blood sugar levels and cause a potential for the immediate cravings of things that are going to soothe us, but also decreasing the potential for long-term issues like autoimmune disorders, cancers, et cetera,
I
and
love
mental
that.
and emotional health, mental and emotional stress, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. What I love about what you're saying, and this is sometimes a piece that I think is missing in relationship. We think we should know about relationship, right? We're born in relationships. We should just absorb it from our surroundings. But when we gain knowledge, like you offer your clients, knowledge that I offer about relationship skills, that is when you can make better choices for your life. You become not a passive part of a relationship, but an active part of it. With so many of us think, I have a relationship, it's kind of something out there. No, a relationship is minute to minute to minute data streaming. And let's become more conscious of how we show up and how we'd like our partners to show up in
Mm.
relationships, or our bosses, or whoever we're working with.
I love that. So as we're finishing up, Bev, I'm really curious if you could give one piece of advice to help to balance out the work life relationship, what would that be for you?
I would offer again to sit with yourself and just to reconnect and see, where do you need to say more no in order to say more yes to what really works for you? Because the secret to a happy life is actually to do more of what you love. And the way to do more of what you love is, in fact, to say yes to more of what you love. And that needs a certain no, I cannot do this right now.
Oh, I love that so much. And that actually plays directly into my one tip as well. And that is prioritize self-care. Now that sounds very easy, or it sounds very cliche, but the reality is the more that you say no to the things that don't serve you, like you said, and you open the opportunities to say yes to the things that do serve you, you now have more time to prioritize your self-care. And it is only within self-care that we find balance, and we find the ability to gain true real health, to set those boundaries with confidence, and to be able to move forward with a little bit more confidence and growth.
Beautiful. Expansion and space,
Yeah.
which maybe we'll speak a bit more about in our next video. Thank you, Tansy.
Thank you
This
so
was
much.
great.
Thank you.